Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do an affordable, easy eye makeup tutorial. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. Please continue watching. So the first thing we're going to do is apply a base. I'm going to be using this very affordable LA Colors concealer to set the eyes. I'm going to use just 2 dots and it's a very nice thick concealer, so it's going to be perfect base for the lids. You want to make sure that if you do use concealer, it is as close as possible to the color of your eyelids because you just want it to slightly conceal any discoloration. Now we're going to go ahead and begin with our Kokie Cosmetics Artist Palette Goddess. And this one is a very affordable eyeshadow palette. As you can see, this is what the palette looks like. It has those very wearable shades. We're going to be first starting off with these nice matte shades. We're going to be starting off with this color right here because it's the more lighter and brighter shade. We're going to be packing that onto our crease. I'm just taking this Morphe Fluffy blending brush and moving it from side to side. You want to make sure that you put a nice mid-tone matte shade onto your crease so that it starts to create depth and dimension. The reason you do this is so that if you do have hooded eyes, it kind of gives the illusion that your eye goes a little bit deeper than just folding right into your socket. Next, with that same brush, we are going to be taking the next color, which is the more darker shade, and we're going to be applying that directly on top. And it's just gonna further intensify the first crease color that we applied. As you can see, when we look directly upwards, you can still see the shadows because we did go over where the crease fold. So you can leave it with just these 2 colors, but if you want to further intensify it, you can definitely go in with a darker shade. We have this deeper brown right here. We're going to be taking that and we're just going to be applying that on the outer edges. We want to keep it tightly packed on this outer part, and that is because this is going to add a lot of depth to the outer corner of the eye. You can start to see that it creates a lot of dimension between the 2 other colors that we've already packed into place. You always want to make sure that the crease has those matte shades. I would suggest just sticking to mattes on the crease. You could always be adventurous and add other types of finishes like shimmer, satins, but I feel like the matte finishes really create that good dimension that you need, and I feel like they really make a look come together very nicely. As you can see, just with these 3 shades, we already added a lot of effects to the eyes. I would call these shades just how you contour your face and you give it that dimension. This is what these shadows do for the eye. If you have a good fluffy blending brush, you can use it for multiple different shades within the same color family. Now we're gonna begin working on the lid. For the lid, I always recommend this brush. This is the MAC 242 brush. This is the most expensive product out of all the products that I'm mentioning right now. This is a holy grail. You definitely should have this in your collection. You can find this in MAC stores. It is the 242, and I feel like it makes a complete difference. You're about to see how it works. So now we're gonna go into the lightest shades in the palette. You can definitely pick a matte shade. In this palette, we have 2 beautiful shimmers, and I always like to stick to shimmers personally. I feel like it adds that good dimension between matte and shimmer instead of just all matte. So I'm gonna be mixing this shade and the shade all the way over here. We're gonna begin swiping those 2 colors on the lid. And as you can see, I'm going a little bit over where my crease folds just because I do have hooded eyes. So just like the face, the reason I like to use shimmers like this on the lid is because that's where I want your attention to go to immediately. That's where I want to highlight, just as if you would highlight your cheekbone. I'm gonna swipe that all throughout. You don't have to break the bank to have really beautiful eyeshadows. And I kind of lift my eye a little bit like that, just so that I can really see where I need to carve out. We have that, very easy. The MAC 242 makes everything possible when it comes to lid work. It really carves everything out beautifully. So now we're gonna go back into this shade right here, which was the last matte that we used, and apply it on the outer edge. Even though it does look a little bit dark on the eye, it's still going to give a very beautiful finish because it does have a mixture of all those shadows already on this brush, which I feel like gives it a more subtle look, and it's able to really connect with the rest of the eye. So we're just taking the brush back and forth from side to side to really blend it into the shimmer so that it doesn't have a really harsh line between them, which is why it's key to have a good blending brush. You can find these blending brushes with Morphe if you're looking for good quality brushes that are very affordable. Very simple, very quick and easy. If you guys are wondering how to apply lashes, I do have a video. I will have it linked for you guys. I did apply some falsies, just very simple, wearable, easy. Now for the last final step, I want to make sure that I have a little bit of a brow bone highlight. This is optional, but I feel like it always makes the eye pop a little bit more. It also makes the brow pop a little bit more, and it just adds the prettiest little glow to the top of the eye. So for this, I'm gonna be using a Morphe JH42 brush, perfect to pat that color. I'm gonna be taking this color right here. I'm just going very lightly, which is why I love this brush. This brush is meant for this, so it does a good job of not putting too much. You don't wanna go overboard with it, just be light. And you can see with some shimmer, without shimmer. So it's totally up to you, but I do feel like it adds a little bit more of a boom effect. This is the eye look complete.